Welcome to the Spark It podcast, where we bring you inspiring conversations that actually spark your interest to do more. I'm your host, Kimaru, and today I'm joined by the brilliant, the sassy, the fashionable Kimzy. She's my sister. We had her in our previous conversation. Kimzy, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, Elena, baby. I missed that name. Hi, Patrick.
It's not even Elena, but
Oh, it's Kimaru, baby. Oh, Kimaru, baby. Yeah. So I'm delighted to be here today. Thank you so much for hosting me again. It's really amazing to be here today.
That's exciting. Honestly, thank you for gracing these podcasts once more. And today we are going to dive into a topic that has had a lot of Kenyans talking. That is echoes of war and what artistic freedom means, or what artistic freedom has meant either for us, because we've been artists for the longest, honestly. So, echoes of war, it's a play that has been trending in Kenya for the last couple of days. Could you tell us a little bit more about Echoes of War?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So first of all, I'm really, I feel mad today because of the things that are happening. So with the Echoes of War, it's as she mentioned, it's a play that was supposed to be performed by Butere Girls. So the Butere Girls is a national school in Kenya. They had this play written by one of the greatest script writers that I know. That is Cleophas Malala, correct? Yeah, so he did the play, scripted the play, and I'm going to read the synopsis of the Echoes of War because it's a really great play for me. Yeah, so the synopsis says there exists a natural balance between respect for the old and care for the young. Those who are old bring experience, while those who are young bring enthusiasm and creative innovations. Yeah, this is the relationship that weaves together our ever evolving society. In this play, this play is a hyperbole attempt to illustrate the unwinding gap between two generations, that's the old and the young. The artistic context is set in the Royal Velvet Emirates, a fictitious kingdom in the Middle East. In this kingdom, the old have quickly lost trust of the younger generation, and the young are agitated by the inflexible strictness of the old. The balance is an inevitable compromise.
Yes.
That is the synopsis. So again, there is there's an imbalance between, there's that gap. Yeah, let me just the gap between the old generation and the young. And I feel like from this play, he's just Malala was trying to just give a face to what we're facing at the moment in Kenya from last year. Yeah, so it's just a scripted art to express, the realities. Yeah, true.
It's like they say art mirrors the society. In Kiswahili, it's like
Kioo cha jamii.
yeah. Yes, art ni kioo cha jamii. Yes, that's how we say it in Kiswahili. Yeah, so for example, for you growing up, you are actually so very much involved in drama festivals, in Kenya music festivals. Like, could you explain to our viewers how that works, especially as a student, like especially for in terms of levels?
So when growing up, we used to have from the levels. And personally, I was in a municipal school, yeah. So that was the lowest starting point, yeah, the starting point. So you'll start from the municipal, go to the district. From the district you go to the provincial. From provincial you go to the nationals, and then if you've passed all the stages after the nationals, if your art is picked, now you have to perform to the state house, and and then
in front of the president.
In front of the president, and that play, if it's a play or a poem, it was now publicized for the society to see and feel that. Yeah, so that is what was happening, and I believe it's the same thing now. Yeah. So they keep going through the same levels,
Yeah.
and for you to get there, it means that your context or whatever you're presenting is top
fire.
notch.
So, for example, how have you seen like young people or students maybe use theater to process or challenge what's happening around them? Especially in your context, you could give an example. Because at some point you even wrote a whole play.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I did write a whole play, and we also performed until the finals. So I feel like it's an having gone through theater, it's the best or the easiest way to convey information, or the best way to bring out matters that are affecting the society, be it in a positive way or in a negative way. Because I believe, like, before we used to have radios and newspapers, yeah,
television.
but now with the way everything is evolving, we are moving from that, yeah. And now you find that it's easier to bring out something or on social media platforms, or it reaches a
bigger
wider
audience.
a bigger audience when it's put out
Performed.
there, yeah, performed, yeah. And as a student, when you perform in theaters, or it gives you that, it gives you the dominance of the stage, like it's
Yeah.
a freedom
Of
of
expression.
expression. You have an easy way of expressing what you feel without being judged, without, especially when you're in a crowd, yeah. It's very easy to communicate something when all of you are talking about the same thing, and like having one individual person, yeah. So theater plays a major role in sanitizing the society. So
I know. So, for example, I had not even heard about these echoes of war play until recently. I believe the reason why it became a big deal here right now was because there was news that the state house or somebody in the government had said that it should not be performed at the national level, and they had already qualified for the national level. Yeah, so at this point it kind of felt as if there's some level of censorship, and I believe the person who wrote this play, they went to the courts, and they were actually granted the permission to actually go ahead and actually have the girls perform this play. Yeah, so it was agreed they would perform. But last night, I think me and you were on a call, and we were looking at different clips online, how it was going down. It's like it was a bit chaotic. The girls were somewhere where they were supposed to spend the night. They were not allowed to rehearse. Even by the time I think I was going to sleep, there was this idea of their play would actually be, it would be performed from 6, I think 6:15 to
AM.
7 to 6:30 a.m. Something like that, which
Very
is a
early.
little bit early. It is so weird.
Very.
I was like, at what I in my memory, I don't remember a time where we had plays or something like that happening at that point, because I mean, government business usually starts around 8 a.m.
True.
So it was a bit weird, and at this point I didn't even know whether they would actually do the play, because also the guy who wrote this poem, play, had issues with the police. There was
He was
police
actually
that,
arrested.
yes, the police had been deployed at the place where they were supposed to perform now today, which is Thursday. Thursday, when it's Thursday the 10th of April, 2025. Yeah. So I think by the time I went to sleep, it kind of felt like it might happen, it might not happen. And then the conversations that were happening online, it's like nobody was really sure whether it was going to happen. What was sort of like your initial reaction now when you heard about these echoes of war, for example, with
So
the little information you might have about it?
So in regards to Echoes of War, if you I've gone through the script, yeah, because at the end of the day, by today morning, they had already released the script online, because now it was giving so much controversy, and people wanted to know what is shaking the government, because it seems like now it's a battle between. I saw a meme, someone saying the president is now, or the government is now fighting with, having beefing with Form 2 West. You know, like, it's so weird how, it's crazy how the government is now having an issue with students who are performing this, and having an issue with just a performance, right? To us, it might be just a performance, but if you go deep into it, it's showing, it's mirroring the issues that we had in 2023, yeah?
2024.
Oh, 2024.
Even 2024,
Yeah, even
sure, yeah.
2023, actually. So the Gen Zs, you remember the issues with the Gen Zs trying to reject the finance bill?
Yeah.
So the demonstrations, the dictatorship, let me just use the word dictatorship, because that is what I feel at the moment. Because you can't tell me you're trying to censor a play, you're trying to ban a play from being performed, and it doesn't, like, it's just trying to show the society the things that these are things that are happening.
realities.
It's our realities. These are things that are happening. So when Malala did this, write this, he wrote it to show the things, the injustice, the dictatorship, the freedom of expression. Because again, with the Gen Zs, they did a lot of how do I put it? Like,
Protests.
yeah, they did a lot of protest, trying to fight for justice and trying to fight for their rights and everything. So that is the thing around the echoes of war. Yeah. So it's already something that has happened, but now we are done with the protest. We're trying to move forward, but we still need to be heard. Yeah. So Malala felt like it was good to also do this, because again, with the students, they're coming to the outer world, or to these, they're growing, yeah? So they'll never be in school again. So they need to know that these things are happening. They need to know, like, their voices should be heard. They need to have to express, because again, if we don't speak, like them, they're very strict. The old, as the script, synopsis said, that gap between, we are trying to bring new ideas, you're trying to bombard us with the old ideas, like, over and over and over. Yeah. So we need to have that common field where the old people or the old generation is allowing us to speak, and we're allowing them to. So we just have that balance, So I feel like that is all that is around the echoes of war.
And I think also, like, growing up, I remember we had English literature and Fasihi in Kiswahili, which is the other whatever of English literature. We did a lot of these things. It's like it was something. I remember, like, in high school, when I was in high school, we did something called Kifo Kisimani. Kifo Kisimani means death at the well. So the Kifo Kisimani was so, I think it brought out those themes. It was a play, actually. It brought out those political themes of injustice in the society, people not being allowed to speak up, like that kind of freedom of expression, or even the censorship, like you being able to stand for yourself. And this is what we were taught in literature, and we would be given like that to sort of critique and talk about it and see what was happening in these plays. So I feel like if you've grown in Kenya and attended Kenyan schools, that's exactly what we have learned.
True.
This is not news for us. When, as far as this type of literature is concerned, we have seen it. And most of them, funnily, is that they were actually, most of those plays, or literature, they would address political injustice, socio-economic issues, all the things that actually surround us on a day-to-day. So in short, even this play, it's sort of like just continuing the conversation, like the things we actually experienced through the literature that we read while we were in high school. And I believe even these students, according to me, I kind of feel like if I was a student right now supposed to perform that play on a stage, I would be really confused, like, because why are you protesting me? Like, why don't you want me to be on a stage? Because even whether, like, these are our realities. I go home, maybe the things that have been addressed in this play are happening to me too, or I have read them in a book, but that maybe there was a writer somewhere who had already depicted some of these things, whether in my current society or in the past or in the future. These are things that might happen. So it kind of feels like just let the kids express themselves.
Very true. And as you've said with the literature book, if you've gone through the comments that people are giving out, or you can hear them trying to associate what the current thing we have, like you will hear people calling someone Mtemi Bokono. That was from
a character in Kifo
Kisimani, right? So again, everything that is happening today, we can be able to relate from those small the books that we read. Yeah. So it's just the same thing and over and over. It's just that now with Butere Girls, they have visualized the, how is it? It's now been played, and like reading from a book, as I mentioned, because if you read Kifo Kisimani and you now watch, or if, let's say, Echoes of War was a written book, like a play, you're reading it. It's just that these people have decided, let's now play it, give it out to people, like make it visual so that people now can see, And I feel, as I mentioned earlier, with having it on theaters and stages like those ones, it reaches a wider. And like, because not everyone will be reading books at the
Yeah.
moment. But if I go now and ask even the oldest person now in the rural places, if you ask them, have you heard about Echoes of War? They'll tell you that we have heard it, not because it was performed already, but because of the controversy that is going around it, having to hear that it has been banned, having to hear that students are being tear gassed just to
Oh,
perform.
yeah.
Everyone is now curious to know
Why?
why would you be fighting a play, you know?
Yeah.
So everyone is now running to get to know what is Echoes of War,
Yeah.
what does it entail, why is it a threat to the government, you know?
And on their part, I feel like the government right now might say that, oh, we are not barring these students from performing, but at in the first place, if somebody had to go to court for the play to be allowed to actually happen, it means already there was somebody who was already putting a barrier for
barrier for
them
it.
to like do it. Because I was looking, maybe you can read for them, the Minister of Education, I think there's something he said about it, but for me it kind of feels like the first time that it was being bad already, it was like you are censoring people, you are trying to silence their voices. What did he say?
He says, so this is from the Standard Digital. Education CS Ogamba says government did not stop Butere Girls from performing, claiming students voluntarily declined, insisting on Malala's presence. Oh, Malala, hey. Oh God, my ancestors, please, not today. Insisting on Malala's presence despite him not being a teacher or a plays director. But at the back of your mind, you have to know that this Malala guy is the script writer.
And
Right?
also, yeah,
And also, him being present there and the government having police around him, having him arrested, is even sending the wrong message in the first place, you know? So as a student, if the script, whoever gave me the script, yeah, you're trying to, why would you stop him from coming over there? Again, as you mentioned, they haven't also been practicing. So there has been a lot of restriction around the whole thing, you know. So even that student is worried and being like, why? At this time, when they say that the students were not stopped, they voluntarily declined. That is something that happened today. The students, they did not voluntarily decline. It's because when they went to the stage, no backdrops. Tell me why you're performing at 6 a.m. There are not enough people.
there were
no
no
audience. Yeah, there were
was
no audience.
no media was allowed.
No media was allowed.
And they
then
don't have props.
They don't have props. So let me ask you, I'm standing on the stage, no props to display what to give you, because a more visual picture of what it is, because that is the need of props and backdrops and everything. They tell a story even before we start speaking.
Yes.
You can see the background and you'll be like, you can now join the dots, yeah?
Yes.
So tell me why you'll restrict me from having those. How am I going to perform in the first place? Because there are times when I don't have words to speak, but I'll point at it, you'll already see the entire picture about it, yeah? And then tell me why media is not allowed here. And why am I performing with no audience? To whom am I just performing? To the 3 judges? You know, this.
Because honestly, even in the past, every time you go for a performance, especially for like the National Drama Festival, you go into that level. It's the last level before maybe you win, and then you go perform now in front of the president mostly for entertainment purposes only.
True.
So at this point, most of the times there's always an audience. So why are you? My question is, why are you not giving these kids an audience? I feel like at this point they already deserve an audience. What is this that you're trying to hide? Like, what is this that you don't want us as a public to see? Like, what type of message are you sending? That's like what I would ask, you know. Wow. So, like, I would ask you, for example, what do you think? What do you think this, for example, we've already established it kind of feels like some level of censorship, or maybe somebody like pushing back on our freedom or the freedom of expression of these students. So, what would you say is this kind of censorship? What sort of precedent does it set for, especially in schools and these types of festivals? How do you feel like maybe going forward? People will or students will perceive participating maybe in these particular competitions, do you think they'll even be interested, or they'll feel like if we go? Because by the way, before even she answers, these kids at some point, I was watching clips online, and they were harassed to some level. It's like they were even tear gassed.
True.
There was a time they went to their bus and they were in tears because of the tear gas, and it's like you feel like as if their voices have been silenced. So how do you feel like, what type of example does this set for future music festivals, drama festivals, and freedom of expression generally?
First of all, there's someone who said that this is a national shame. Yeah, honestly speaking, it is, because tell me why that we have so many things that are affecting us at the moment. Why would you like forget all the other important things, stuffs that we are facing, and focus on that specific one? Yeah. So I feel like at the moment we are very woke. Yeah. So before. Let's say something happened like this way before, I feel like we could be, how do I put it? We could be silenced and our voices shut. But at the moment, I'm really, really proud of what Butere Girls did, yeah? So they stood their ground and they were like, you know what? If backdrops are not here, if this and this is not set straight, we're not going to perform. And they did the respectful thing. They just sang the national anthem and they walked out, yeah?
Yeah, they left the stage.
They left the stage because, again, that was a very moral thing to do. But again, I feel like we have lost the moral compass as a nation, because for you to get now, we are going down to the minute things, because attacking students, the fact that they were even tear gassed and everything, that was so wrong.
They're minors. Where is the freedom of expression? Who's protecting them?
Yeah, who's protecting them? Because if I'm not allowed to speak and be heard from this age, but I feel like at the moment where we are, okay, it's going to impact the festivals, because again, you'll be asking, even parents will be like, hey,
you're participating.
Yeah, you're participating. You go get tear gassed. No, I don't want you to get into.
Can I hear your lines?
I know, right? Because you remember there's a place where they're quoting whatever the president said.
Yes, they did actually quote some of the things he said in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Do you like have the hey, today my ancestors are working.
My God, I think they did quote something he said about, I think the person they were saying, okay, we will not say the president, we just said the person in the play knows all markets, they know all roads, you know, and it is something that mirrors what has been happening in Kenya.
But now my issue comes in, like they're just quoting what was already said. It's something that is already there. It's something that was said. So why are you feeling attacked for your words?
Somebody said there's people in government who are fearing their shadows.
Oh my God, that is true.
Like they fear their shadows. You cannot imagine that that's you. But if you can't imagine that's you, why not do something about it?
It means that there's something deeper than...
Something is wrong.
Yeah, something is wrong. Something is wrong, yeah? But I feel like for us, where we are, as I mentioned, freedom of speech gives you identity. It allows you to be heard. It gives you a voice. So from where we are, I feel like the more you push us, the more we'll speak out. You know, we are not going to allow dictatorship as it was before. We're not going to allow censorship. So at the moment, the more, like you can see with the protest that we had, the more they kept on pushing people, the more they kept on banning this, the more that we felt the need. We want to know why are you? What is this? Why are you why are you stopping us? You know? So I feel like at the moment, yes, there's going to be fear when it comes to that, but we're not going to allow that. We are going to speak out so that we can be heard. Yeah. So I don't believe that censorship will work at this time. I don't believe like silencing us will take us down. At the moment, it's not going to work, because now there are going to be more Malalas out there. A lot of people and more Butere Girls out there. People will now want to speak out. People will now be quoting the things, the reality that is on the ground, you know. And now I feel like this one, because it's not the first time they're doing this, right? Especially for the same school. You remember that?
I think we saw something about 2011. They also performed something called Shackles of Doom, also written by the same
The
person
same person.
actually. And I think they went up. They were also taken to court because somebody didn't want them to perform the same or whatever. But it happened, and they actually performed.
Performed.
And from the clip I saw online, it's like the hall was filled to capacity. There was people watching even through the windows because people are also curious. And again, as we said, like art mirrors the reality of what is happening in a society. And some of these plays, they talk about social, political, economic issues. It's like they're just there to show that they're reflective. Like, for example, even when I write my poems, it's mostly reflecting of stuff that is happening in the society. When I write about FGM, it's because I have lived in a community where girls went through that, and they told me their stories. So my poetry, when it comes to that, it kind of mirrors their almost exact experiences because it has happened to those girls.
Yeah, and also I need people to know when you're writing, when you're doing a script, yeah, most of the times, even that echoes of war. If you watch or you read the entire script, at the end, at the last point of the play, we always come together with one voice and we address. We might, from the play, there might be this and this and this, but at the end of it, there are lessons that we need to learn. There are lessons that the society needs to learn. There are lessons. So I feel like there's no play that is always fight, 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 fight until the end. We get to understand, to allow things to be hard, then we come to a conclusion, we come to one understanding. So at the end of that play, you'll realize that there's a lot of sanitization that has been done, and there's a lot of things that we want to be seen or to be heard. Ideas that are being projected to make the country better. Ideas that are being projected to lessen the gap or reduce that gap. You know. So again, it's not all fears and whatever. There's
a lessons we can draw.
Yeah, we can draw from this. So I don't know why these people who are fighting Butere Girls are not willing to, to give them time to speak. But Butere Girls, go for it. I'm standing with you.
Yes, please. So why do you think like the authorities are so afraid of this type of art? And the truth, is it because of the truth it tells? Is it because it might be mirroring their behavior or something? Or
yeah, that is the major thing. It's I feel like, because as you mentioned, it's the reality that you're facing now. Yeah. So at the moment, sorry to say, but the governance that you're going through, or the ruling that is happening at the moment, it has some potholes, a lot of potholes, to be honest. And I don't think there's a government that is perfect.
Yes,
there's no government that is perfect. There must be these ups and downs. However, you need to give room for correction. You need to give room for new things to come, because let me just touch on something at the moment that something that keeps on bugging me. I feel so bad when the CS in our countries, they keep on revolving around. This week you're in this docket, next week you're on another docket. This week you're on this docket, you go to this one. They don't even check whether you have a background understanding of that docket or something. And then you find that in the society that you are at the moment, it's very unlikely to have youths given the platforms. So you'll find someone is already in their 60s, they're still vying for positions. Sorry to say, I don't know whether it happens in all Africa countries, but I guess it's everywhere, yeah? So we're not given that because the old are still getting employed, we are studying, we are being empowered, but we're getting to levels where, again, there's that barrier that stops you from going
to the next level.
There's that point where they feel like, no, you don't have the experience, you don't have, which is really, really sad, yeah? But I feel like we need to allow, what can I say? New things, new ideas to be, I don't know.
You need to allow young people to lead.
Yeah, true. And not even lead, I can come and give you ideas.
Give them their voice.
Yeah, and give them the voices. Yeah,
like
it's
the most basic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. Wow.
Give us the voice.
And what do you think, for example, knowing now that you used to perform all the way from when you were younger, what do you think this whole scenario of these girls, because as you said today, they showed up on stage, they didn't have props. Imagine you've been planning and then you show up on stage, there is no props, there is no sound, there's nothing literally. What do you think, for example, what message does this send to young girls out here, especially girls, about maybe like their worth, their voices, their freedom? Because I looked at those girls and the way they're expressing themselves, even as they were getting onto the bus, you could like feel their pain. So what do you think this sends? What type of message does this send? And also, to add on to that, I saw people saying, hey, if it was boys who were supposed to perform on that stage, and then people just leave it at that, they don't say anymore. So what do you think this sends? What type of message does this send to these young girls out here and about their voices and their worth?
So first of all, that was very, very, very heartbreaking, because again, when I understand when people say if it was boys performing, it could have, I don't know whether the society has placed the girls into this place where we are, I don't want to use the word inferior, but we're given a space where
It's about patriarchy.
yeah, true, exactly. So for you going to those levels to just make silence them from performing, it gives a very negative view of what you how do I put it, like the views that you have when it comes to ladies. I don't want to make it feel like it's just for the girls, because I believe that even if it was a let's say Butere boys performing the same, and they felt after all that hard work, after all those going through all those levels, endless what are they called, practice day in day out, like it takes a lot for you to go to the national levels. So silencing me on the major stage that I'm expecting, it doesn't even have, because as I mentioned, when it gets to that level, you'll find that when you are on the provisional levels, still the audience is not as big as national levels, because with the national levels, people come from far and wide to see this play that has come, or this art that has come all this way. What does it entail? What is it? Because for it to get to that level, it means that there's something the judges, every judge level from every judge from every level have seen something.
Yes,
So trying to silence that is super wrong. And again, as I mentioned, we are woke. This round we are very woke. I feel like it's not going to work for ladies. If you're trying to make the young girls feel intimidated, feel some type of way. Yes, they felt that, but again, it gives them strength, because they'll be like, after that, I could see them chant when they went to their buses. They were singing these chant songs, and then there was people joining them to just make sure that
the public was
celebrating them, because again, it means that there's something that is shaking the government. There's something in you guys.
Revolution.
There's a revolution that is shaking the
Some
government.
change is coming.
Some change is coming. So I feel like these girls, they took it. They took it in some. Yes, we're feeling pain, because again, you're trying to silence us, but we're not going to give you room to do that. We're not going to allow that. So again, it's not going to work. If you're going to silence the girls, it's not going to work, because, as I mentioned, there are going to be more Butere girls somewhere. And now people will rise up and be woke and start giving us insights of what is even happening in the government. And when you check with Malala, he was even in the government sometime.
He was a senator.
He was a senator. So I feel like him being the script writer, it's giving the government some. They have a fear
it's
of
you have an insider. Now they're on the outside.
Exactly, they're now on the outside, so they're fearing that a lot of things will come out. But again, they're going to be more Malala out there, so he's not going to be the only person. So if you try to silence him, you try to silence him, others are rising. You try to silence Butere girls, another group of girls will come out, or another group of young men will come out.
So what would, if you were talking to a Butere girl today, especially those who are supposed to perform, what would you say to them?
First of all,
and if they're listening also.
very proud of you. I'm super, super proud of what you guys did. That was amazing. Don't give up. I know, I know it feels some type of way that you've come to the nationals, performing. I'm hoping that they're going to allow you to perform. And if not, if they don't allow you to perform, don't worry. We got you. I hope Abel is listening. I hope Phil production, you're listening or you're watching to this podcast, because I feel like now with that, we're going to make sure that it goes out there, away from
Somebody
just the
needs to
theater.
record
We need a recording. We need a live performance. Bring it to our screens.
We will pay.
Yeah, we'll pay. We're going to pay to watch that. Yeah. So Butere Girls, I'm really, really proud of you guys for what you did. Keep on holding on to that. When they try to silence you, now this is where you feel your voice is heard. Even if it wasn't heard from the theater or on that stage, it was heard from now, because at the moment, everyone is looking around to see, hey, what was Butere Girls about to perform? What is this Echoes of War? And now it's even giving us the memories of the Shackles of Doom. And it's from the same school, so it's now making us want to know more about Butere Girls and want to know more about what you're sanitizing or what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you. You might have not performed on that stage, but trust me, today you've reached a wider audience, more than what was supposed to be in Nakuru. If Nakuru there was supposed to be 1,000 people or 4,000 people, trust me, you've gone international, because now everyone is talking about it. Yeah. So you've performed already. You never went on that stage. There were no backdrops on that. You just sang the national anthem and walked out respectful. But your impact has been felt.
Yeah. So for me, I would say, dear Butere Girls, as a woman and also as an artist, I see you and I hear you. And as Kimzy has said, your voice is valid, and your voice was not meant for a small stage.
Very true.
It was meant for such a big stage, because honestly, on my part, I wouldn't even have known that they were supposed to perform. But now, on my phone, I have the script. I might not have you being casted and doing what you do best, but I already know what exactly is happening. I'm proud of you, and your voices actually matter. Yeah, so that's what I would say to the girls. Maybe another thing I would want to ask, what do you think maybe we lose as a country, and especially when we censor artistic freedom?
We lose, first of all, moral compass again. The direction that we're headed to is direction of doom. I feel like as a country, when you try to censor something, and killing the freedom expression, first of all, you're not just killing the art itself, you're killing the voices, you're impacting the society, because again, I feel like where we are headed to, it's going to be dictatorship. Because tell me why I'm trying to sanitize the society and you're trying to shut me down. Why? It's like, you remember there was a time where even I hear there are times when internet is cut so that people cannot say, journalists are distracted from having to show us whatever is happening on the ground.
Actually, the journalists were tear gassed last night. Oh my God! I had one of them say, "Oh my God, it hit me somewhere."
That is so wrong. But I have a comment. Someone said this: "Echoes of War is a wake-up call, not a crime." Yeah. So this is what is transpiring in Nakuru regarding the play Echoes of War, written by Cleophas Malala, performed brilliant by Butere Girls, is nothing short of a national shame. A state that censors students' art has lost its moral compass. Yeah, this is not just a play; it was a bold and intelligent reflection of our society realities. Instead of applauding these young thespians for their courage and creativity, the government has chosen intimidation over introspection. Right? When young girls can no longer act out true without fear, when schools must second guess their scripts, when we have then we have failed not only the arts, but the very spirit of education.
Heavy.
Let us be clear: Echoes of War is not a propaganda; it's art, it's truth, it's Kenya, and it must be protected. To silence the arts is to silence the thoughts. To silence students is to it's to betray the future.
Wow.
Right? So that comment was really, really everything today for me. And there's another one that I placed. This is what it says. You can never silence the power of literature. Once the pen kisses the paper, the fate of thought hangs on the boots of imagination.
Oh, that's her comment.
That is my
The
comment,
last one.
because yo, seriously, what are you doing?
Oh my God. Honestly, I think you're almost summarizing this episode. But honestly, yeah. I mean, if you silence voices, and especially the voices of young people,
Yeah,
they're the
young
same
people.
kids who will grow up to become voters one day. Are you also
We're the
trying?
future.
They are the future. Are you
Yeah,
trying
leaders,
to
yeah.
tell them that their voice doesn't matter? Like, what sort of precedent are you setting for them? Because at some point, you will even need them. I even saw a comment online where somebody said that the kids right now who are in Form 3 will be voters by 2027 because they would have already completed school and probably gotten like an identity card, and they can be able to vote. So what are you trying to show these kids, that if you show them right now that their voices don't matter, or you try to like sort of censor them, then do you expect them to also show
Vote for
up?
you?
Yes, show up at the polling station to vote for you?
Yeah, tell me how my vote will matter if my voice doesn't matter.
Does it?
You know?
I couldn't have said it better. If your voice does not matter, literally,
How will you
why
vote?
should my vote also matter to you as a politician, for example? Wow. My mind is blown. My mind is blown, honestly. Where? Yeah.
That was tough, but hey, honestly,
That's honestly, it's
it
sad
painted
state
a
of
very
affair.
it painted a very bad picture of us because Lord.
Wow. So, in your opinion, what kind of future are we shaping if we continue to silence, especially youth voices?
Actually, we're burying the future. It's like we're not going anywhere, because I feel like if you keep on censoring us as youth, if you keep on pushing us like down, you're stepping on us, we're not going to ever rise, you know? And I feel like that is something that happens. There are countries where dictatorship is working, you know? So I feel like if we continue this way, we are heading that direction.
Wow. Yeah, I think,
Honestly speaking.
yeah, and I think even whatever we said previously even kind of summarizes this. Like, if this is the kind of future we are shaping, like where you cannot speak, then should we also ask that these politicians don't ask us to give them our votes? And then also, again, at that point, who gets to
Who
lead?
gets to lead, yeah.
Because if, like, I think communication or your voice being heard is something like really, really important. So what do you think? What's your hope for maybe for the next generation of storytellers, artists, truth speakers, and especially in a Kenyan context? What would you hope happens for people who want to express themselves, especially in these artistic spaces and all that?
First of all, I'm really praying that you never get intimidated. Just know that your voice matters. You might, I know it's going to get to a place where we might, if they continue doing this, as I said, sometimes when you push like gold, it shines better, or it becomes gold when it goes through the fire, right? So I believe that, and I'm hoping that the more we get through this fire, the more we get to fight for our rights, the more we get to fight to be heard and everything, there's going to get to a point where our voices will be higher than everything else. There's going to be that point where we're going to stand for ourselves, we're going to be expressing ourselves without intimidation, without being silenced. And I'm really hoping for a country or a society where everything we are heard.
Yeah.
For anyone who's trying, because let me tell you, when it comes to script writing, I remember there was a time people used to do script writing and then they sell the script anonymously, because you don't want to get, even with a podcast, not podcast, sorry, the bloggers, a lot of bloggers hide behind, because because of fear of
They're like anonymous.
yeah, a lot of, if you check on the anonymous blogs, they hit hard. Like they hit the nail at the head, or the head of the nail, because it's tough. People feel like hiding when it's anonymous. they express themselves with a lot of ease, without fear of contradiction, without
Yeah.
fear of intimidation. But that is not what I hope for us. I don't want to be for us to be hidden on the shadows, hiding on the shadows. I need storytellers to come out. I'm praying for an environment where we'll not feel intimidated, where we'll have a place where we can write freely, we can perform freely without intimidation, we can be heard, and, just hoping for a better
Yeah.
tomorrow or better generation coming
Yeah,
next.
and I think to add to what you've said, like if you censor people to some extent, or you bring up these type of issues that sound like as if they are censorship, you kind of take away from the story.
True.
The authenticity, and people now have to hide. People don't like, because I feel like if you're really a good leader and you're trying to lead us, or even this is me now talking to all leaders here in Kenya. I feel like the same way you want us to hear you, and we are the ones who elected you, the same way you want us to hear you, you should make it a level playing ground. Let us hear you, and you should also hear us.
True.
Because you are there to serve the interests of the people, not your personal interests.
True.
And I think artistic freedom, as an artist myself, I don't think I would want to get to a place where I've written a really good poem that I feel kind of reflects what we are going through as a society, and I cannot publish it on my blog, or I cannot perform it.
Yeah, because it will not even
That's
be.
like taking my voice away. And I also, one thing I would say, if for example, if somebody somewhere is feeling a little bit uncomfortable with this type of conversation, or me maybe writing a poem, or somebody writing a play, then I think it's also time to, as a society, we took a back seat and reflected. It's okay to reflect. It's okay to look at what's happening, where did we go wrong, how can we course correct, because as you said, at some point we are not perfect humans.
True.
Even whether I'm a politician or just a normal mwananchi, we are not perfect, but how can we course correct? Because it's only by course correcting that we'll be able to move forward. But intimidating people, censorship, and all these kind of things, I think at the end of the day, it kind of takes us back.
Yeah, true. It takes us back, and it kills the kills our voices. Yeah, it's like you're still stealing our voices away. And I saw something Jugush uploaded where he was saying ati kweni. I'm going to use Kiswahili because he said kweni hakuna makofi kwa hiyo play, like if you're expecting us to praise you, the more we praise you, can you just also allow us to correct you? Or give, because it doesn't mean that we'll forever be praising you. There are some things that you're doing
Sometimes
that
we'll call you out.
yeah, we'll need to call you out. Kindly be open to listening to us when you call, because if someone calls you out, there must be something that is amiss. There's something that is not going in the right direction. So
Yeah.
just be open to take feedback, listen to people. You don't have to do everything according to what you think is right, because again, whatever you think is right, it might not be the right thing, So it's not going to be always praises. Be ready for criticism too, yeah.
So what would be your last word with regards to this whole echoes of war and what happened today? Just, yeah.
Well, again, I feel like at the moment, I'm still heartbroken because the girls did not perform. I'm still heartbroken because I know the hard work that goes into bringing that to life.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, you guys. It's a lot of work, and I can feel the pinch that the directors are also feeling, the pain that the students are feeling, the pain that the school is feeling, because again, they had to put some good money into making sure that the art was
brought
perfect.
to life.
And so again, I'm still feeling some type of way, but again, part of it, I'm super happy. It had to happen. I feel like it had to happen. Again, I don't understand why Butere Girls for the second time. So it's a threat to, I feel like you guys are bringing out things.
They're good at what they do.
Yeah, you're good at what you do, and that is amazing. Yeah. So I'm really proud that this happened. Actually, I'm happy that it happened in a way, because as I mentioned, it publicized the entire echoes of war. It created that audience. So a lot of people are going to get into it. A lot of people are going to now understand that apart from the protest that we had before, there's still a voice somewhere that needs to be heard. There's still a lot of things that we buried. Like for me, I feel like after that protest, a lot of things were just buried. Yeah. So we never solved issues, we just buried them. I feel like it's time that they need to come out again over and over until we're heard. So as much as I'm broken that the performance did not happen, I'm still super, super proud that it went out in waves, major waves. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, my last words for this would be let's allow for artistic freedom.
True.
Honestly. And also especially for kids out here, it helps build character, confidence,
Identity.
identity, leadership skills when they're in school, all these very good stuff we even talked about in the previous episode. Yeah, so let's allow our children to be children. Let's allow them to express themselves.
Very true.
Let's allow them a stage. Because at the end of the day, these same children, they're gonna grow to be adults. And as you said somewhere, if this is what is happening in the society, it will also be reflective even in their realities at that point when they become adults. So it's nothing new. Maybe what they're trying to say is they are demanding for a better future. So that maybe when they become adults, they have better platforms, they can access jobs, they can live better lives, they can do whatever they need to do without struggling too much. So yeah, let's set out the stage for everyone to be heard the same way our leaders want to be heard. I think even us, we want to be heard,
time.
or the students want to be heard.
True.
Yeah, I think that's what I would say. Yeah, anyway. Kimzy, thank you for sharing your insights. Honestly, I think this actually affected you deeply.
Very, very much. Because,
and it was great to actually hear your insights on this topic. And we hope that as a society we can definitely do better. Yes. So thank you for showing up.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
It has been really amazing having this conversation because it was burning. It was time for to speak out because that really needed to be heard.
I know.
But yeah, I'm really hoping that we do better.
I know. So if this episode sparked something in you, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with your network or even somebody who needs a little inspiration. And also follow us on all our social media platforms at the Spark It Podcast. See you next time at
Spark It Podcast.
Bye.
The Spark It Podcast. Bye-bye.